right now on 5 on your side at 10.
And we start tonight in a weather alert. A burst of snow is falling over St. Louis tonight as we continue to deal with dangerously cold temperatures. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. The snow is blowing across area interstates, but our storm tracker is out right now on the side streets in Brentwood, which are snow covered.
Let's get straight over to Weather First Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell with the latest on this, Scott.
Well, you know, the snow is wrapping up around St. Louis right now. We're going to see flurries continuing throughout the overnight hours for sure, at least for the next several hours. But most of the accumulating snow has shifted east and southeast of St. Louis at this point, and it has left some problems on some of the roads. Here's a look out into St. Charles right now. Traffic's been generally light. Of course, today was MLK Jr. Day, and so it was a holiday. But traffic generally has been light tonight, and it's moving along the interstates fairly well, even though this light fluffy snow managed to stick very quickly. Where there's been traffic, it's tended to be blown off the road, and that's the interstates. But your side roads like this in Florissant are still pretty snow covered. Same holds true as we go out to Main Street in St. Charles. We have lots of covered roads right now, and there are school closings, largely due to the heat. Traffic conditions across the region, partly to mostly covered roads around all of Metro St. Louis at this hour. And really that extends into the Metro East, down across southeast Missouri, and of course, back through parts of the Ozarks and in western Missouri as well. Not much on the radar screen around St. Louis at the moment. Here's a broader perspective. The bands of snow sliding away from St. Louis at this hour. There are flurries, though, still lingering back to the west, and the cold air hasn't gone anywhere. 7 degrees, our current temperature, and this hour, Lambert reports a snowfall total of 1.1 inches total for this storm. Pittsfield feels like it's 12 below, 8 below in Chesterfield. The wind chill advisory, the wind chill warnings, they remain in effect for the St. Louis area. The warning north and west of town for wind chills as low as 25 to 30 below zero tomorrow morning. In the metro, more like 15 to 20 below zero. That's dangerously cold. 30 seconds, exposed skin can get frostbite. We'll see you with some good news on a bit of a warm up in a few minutes and some more bad news about the next Arctic break.
And Scott, as you mentioned, secondary roads are causing the most issues right now. We want to go out to our Weather First storm tracker. They are on the roads in Brentwood right now. Our photojournalist Don Galloway giving us this shot of South Brentwood. As you can see, it is snow covered, and you need to be careful on roads like this because they can be icy. For the most part, area highways are in better shape. As you can see on the left side of your screen, showing I-70 near Zumble in St. Charles. And then take a look at 141 near Ladue Road. That is on the right. Both MoDOT and IDOT have crews out right now. We're told they'll be out throughout the night and morning until major roads are mostly clear. Remember, you can get the latest Weather First forecast right to your phone. Just text the word weather to 314-425-5355.
And nearly 250 schools have already made the call to either cancel classes, start late, or switch to remote learning tomorrow. This is mostly because of the dangerous cold. The list includes several large school districts like St. Louis Public Schools, Rockwood, Fort Zumwalt, and Hazelwood. And of course, you can find all of the closings at the bottom of your screen and at KSDK.com.
Crews will resume their search in the morning for a man missing after a North City house fire.
It is just one of several house fires that kept St. Louis firefighters on the move in the dangerous cold. And tonight, they're sounding the alarm. 5 on your side's Robert Townsend has the warning about heating your home this winter.
On a frigid single-digit day, these St. Louis firefighters had a tough fight on their hands. From a pumper truck and high atop a ladder, they poured non-stop water on a raging fire at this 2-story brick duplex on Athlone Avenue in North St. Louis.
Here we had a heavy fire, just a heavy volume of fire and smoke showing on the first floor. We had initial report that there were persons trapped.
Investigators say 3 people lived in the unit where the flames started in the kitchen area. An elderly woman got out safely. The second person wasn't home at the time. And as of Monday, a man still unaccounted for.
In the time that we were able to get inside and advance and do a search, we were unable to locate anyone.
Right now, firefighters still don't know what caused this fire here on Athlone Avenue. Now, when it comes to heating your home this winter, they are stressing to keep safety in mind. Foremost, never leave your oven on to heat your home. As for space heaters,
Please use the manufacturer's instructions, right? Plug it directly into the wall. Don't use an extension cord. Keep it at least 3 feet away from anything that can burn.
of course, make sure you have working batteries in your smoke alarm.
What it's going to do, though, is give you that advance warning to get out.
Meantime, fearless firefighters who saw water from their hoses freeze on fences, bushes, their trucks, and even their helmets wore lots of layers and extra gloves on this dangerously cold day. This house fire was this team's third one and counting.
A lot of the firefighters fighting this fire been around for a long time. It's an adapt and overcome profession. So regardless of what it is, we're going to meet the challenge and overcome it.
Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
Firefighters do not believe the person who lives in the other unit was home at the time of the fire.
Cleanup is underway at the St. Louis County Justice Center in Clayton after the frigid temperatures caused a pipe to burst. Officials tell 5 on your side water from a broken pipe on the 9th floor made it all the way down to the 3rd floor. Cleaning crews were brought in last night. We're told jail operations were not affected and no inmates had to be relocated. The cost of the damage is unclear.
Animal shelters on both sides of the river are seeing a lot of new faces over the last few days due to the cold temperatures, and now they're urgently needing your help. 5 on your side's Laura Barcheski talked to 2 groups who want to get these animals into a warm home.
Kelly, the shelters I spoke with are in desperate need of people to foster dogs and are also in need of donations because so many of the animals coming in off the street have medical issues.
Gateway Pet Guardians in East St. Louis says over the last week they've had 50 dogs come in out of the cold, all while their shelter reached capacity weeks ago.
We've been asking the community to step in and help us by fostering, and when you open doors at homes, we're able to continue bringing in those emergency cases.
We helped volunteer Andrea Zerbruggen bring in one of those emergency cases that residents say has been out on the street for a while.
We need to get you inside, honey. That's a sweet baby.
She even let us in on the naming process, and we decided to call him Yeti to go with the cold weather theme. With the influx of animals, they also need more than just foster homes.
As you saw, Yeti today is clearly going to need some medical care, but we also need some supplies. So with a bunch of new foster homes, we provide those supplies to fosters, things like medium to large size wire crates, leashes, large and medium martingale collars.
On the other side of the river, KSDK also had about 50 cats and dogs brought in as temperatures plummeted, including this puppy named Scrappy, who was found in the backyard of a vacant home.
A few come in that have medical conditions or that are very thin. Particularly conditions that affect the hair coat right now are dangerous because that's another way that they help keep themselves warm in the winter.
KSDK Executive Director and veterinarian Abby Atterbury says she wants all pet owners to keep these tips in mind when it gets this cold.
Short walks, indoors as much as possible, and pets that need to be outdoor really need some additional heat support and a good shelter that protects them from the elements, including the wind and being dry from any snow or other precipitation.
Gateway Pet Guardians has also been providing assistance to pet owners that need it by providing crates and shelters with straw. If you'd like to help with donations or by fostering, we'll have links to both shelters' information on KSDK.com.
We have breaking news tonight out of Iowa. Former President Donald Trump has handily won the first in the nation presidential caucus. He has a 30-point lead over Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley. They are battling for second place. Former President Trump collected the majority of delegates and won the most votes in almost every county.
Our political editor Mark Maxwell traveled to southeast Iowa tonight. He joins us live from the Lee County caucus site in Keokuk. Mark.
Kelly and Mike, good evening. Donald Trump dominated Iowa tonight. At last report, he won support from more than half of all Republican voters who showed up to a caucus event. And in this corner of southeast Iowa, at this high school in Keokuk, he won an even larger share from that. Just reading the room, you could tell that most of the Republicans who showed up here tonight had already made up their mind before they walked in the door.
God bless America and God bless Donald Trump.
Lee County Republican Caucus co-chair Sandra Johnson rallied hundreds of voters to back Donald Trump's bid to do what only one other president has done in history, return to the White House after losing it.
I believe he was anointed by God in 2016, and when I worked that election, I like to call him a flawed vessel, which he definitely is, a very flawed vessel.
Other Iowa Republicans feared what 4 more years under Trump might bring.
Of more turmoil, self-indulgence, and divisiveness.
This woman urging voters to back Ron DeSantis.
He is not facing 91 felony charges. In 2 years, Ron will be 48 years old, not 80 years old.
Trump's critics cited his baggage and Joe Biden's age as weaknesses in a general election.
We are so done with geezers.
This younger voter took the mic for Nikki Haley, arguing she could unite a divided country.
I'm sure I have a lot of disagreements with a lot of people in this room politically. I think that's okay. I think that's kind of what makes America great, right? Is we talk through our issues, we figure it out.
But when the ballots were counted, none of the challengers could knock Trump from his perch as the front runner. Most of the Republicans here did what they came to do.
Vote for Trump.
Why is that?
He's just the guy. I mean, our gas prices was low. The border is a big thing with me.
The final count is still being tallied across the state. Many counties still gathering ballots. If the results hold steady, it appears that Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley will split the remaining delegates heading to the Republican National Convention, finishing second and third place respectively. We'll wait to see the final results there. You may hear a lot of complaining already from the DeSantis camp, even using the phrase election interference to describe early news reports about the results. Some of those reports were results were reported before people here even got their ballot, but it's unclear if it made any difference in the outcome. Reporting in a chilly Keokuk, Iowa on this night, Mark Maxwell, 5 on your side.
A day of remembrance and celebration as the region paid tribute to the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. There were many celebrations today to honor the civil rights leader, including a special service at St. Louis City Hall. Community leaders, members of the clergy, and the public were there to celebrate Dr. King's birthday. Dr. King was the driving force behind the civil rights movement. This year's theme was keeping the dream alive for the next generation.
St. Louis will win again, and we will honor Dr. King's ultimate dream. A society where everyone can succeed, reversing decades of historic wrongs and ensuring that every family has the opportunity to do more than just survive, but every family has the opportunity to thrive.
Typically, the celebration is held outside, but because of the dangerously cold weather, it was indoors, followed by a motorcade, which ended in a wreath-laying ceremony at Harris-Stowe State University.
Metrolink mayhem. New details tonight on what led to a shooting and stabbing on the same train. Buy now, pay later. It's a shopping convenience that comes at a cost. Tonight, we're helping you keep your credit in check.
One more brutal morning of wind chills before we get a brief break midweek. When the next Arctic push comes our way and how long it lasts. We'll see you in 6 minutes.
Let's head back out. The Weather First Storm Tracker is monitoring deteriorating road conditions as snow falls across the St. Louis region right now. It is on I-64. This is in the Richmond Heights area, where, as you can see, traffic is stop and go. There are reports of an accident near McCausland. MoDOT and IDOT both say crews will be out throughout the night to make sure major roads are cleared for the morning commute.
2 men are now charged with first-degree assault after 3 people were hurt during a violent outbreak on a Metrolink train. Investigators say Gary Walker and Richard Hamilton got on the train at the Lansdowne station in Shrewsbury yesterday afternoon. Walker is accused of shooting a person in the leg before the train arrived at the Sun Inn station in Maplewood. Hamilton is accused of stabbing 2 people and then stealing a gun. The motive not yet clear. We're told none of the injuries were life-threatening.
If you took advantage of those buy now, pay later plans over the holidays, it is now time to pay up.
Those bills could be more than you expected. Tonight, Consumer Reports is making sense of those short-term loans and how you can dodge those costly fees. Mary Wren will tell you it was the happiest and most expensive time of the year.
And if you have a family like mine, we have birthdays October, November, December. So it's back to back. And then I'm due in January with our baby girl.
To make ends meet, some holidays she's used the buy now, pay later option at checkout. The offer? Make a down payment, usually 25% of the purchase, then pay off the rest in 3 payments.
They're fronting the money to the merchant for you. So you're paying them back in the long run.
Some of these plans offer no cost or low cost terms up front. But now that those gifts have been opened and payments are due, be careful. They can get very expensive if you miss a payment and are not paid in full when the promotion period ends. Late fees can range from a few dollars or up to 25% of the loan amount.
Payments that are made late, which is 30 days or more, may get reported to the credit bureaus and negatively affect your credit score.
So next time, Consumer Report says there might be better options than the buy now, pay later plans. First, look inside your wallet.
Especially for expensive purchases, or if you think you're going to return something, consider using a credit card instead and aim to pay it off as quickly as possible.
If you don't have a credit card, talk to your bank or credit union. Or if it's a larger purchase, consider a personal loan. Finally, if you decide to buy now and pay later, see if you can pick the traditional pay in 4 plan. That's when you make 4 payments over 6 weeks with no or very small fees as long as you pay on time. And no matter which plan you pick, Mary has a final piece of advice.
Everything I pay is on auto pay, so it doesn't really affect my credit. So that's good.
Auto pay ensures your bill is always paid on time. Returns can also be a hassle. Oftentimes you have to contact the seller and lender before you can stop making payments, a process that can take several weeks.
Well, better late than never for local skiers. Opening day at Hidden Valley just wrapped up a few hours ago. The season is getting a later start than usual because to our mild start to winter. Skiers and snowboarders packed the slopes in Wildwood today despite the frigid temps.
It's amazing to see everybody having a good time. It's cold, but it's a great day, wonderful day to be out on the slopes. Snow quality is unbelievable, and it's going to stay that way with this cold weather for weeks on end, and we'll make snows every opportunity we can.
So the slopes are open daily, but hours do vary. The Polar Plunge Tubing Hill will open Friday. Hidden Valley also says it has plenty of hot chocolate and coffee stocked up in the lodge.
Gonna need that hot chocolate.
That sounds great.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joins us now with the Weather First forecast. Again, everybody asking when will there be at least a little bit of a warm-up?
You know, we're going above freezing, we think, on Wednesday. I mean, that's going to seem, that's 35, 40 degrees warmer than we were yesterday.
Yeah.
That's true.
That'll be a bonus. There's a MoDOT truck right now just cruising along Interstate 70 by the airport. There have been a lot of delays and cancellations today out of Lambert, not necessarily because of the weather here, but elsewhere like Nashville and into the deep south. They've had all kinds of problems. But the interstate there is actually looking pretty decent out by the airport. 1.1 inches of snow officially measured by the weather observer at the airport. There's still a little bit showing up on radar out over mid-Missouri that has to drift through, but the main band has gone off to the east right now. That's the one that gave us that healthy dusting up to an inch of snow. Most of us saw about 3/4 of an inch, it seems like, but a very dry, fluffy snow. And now we're down to 6 degrees in St. Louis. Kirksville's already below 0, and you take into account the fact that there's a breeze, now still not as strong as what it was yesterday morning, or Saturday for that matter, but that still lets those wind chills back, 20 to 30 below 0 up to our north and west. We feel like we're 6 below right now in St. Louis. That's to your exposed skin. Actual air temperatures right now around 5, 6 degrees for most of us. We'll drop to around 0 overnight, give or take just a little bit. You see the clouds trying to break up a little bit out there in Weldon Springs. See some fresh snow tracks there down in Farmington, Cuba, over to Highland. Yeah, everybody's got a little snow on the ground at this moment. Here's the lowdown. Tonight, the snow is coming to an end, but there'll still be flurries and there will still be slick spots. The wind chills, 10 to 25 degrees below 0 early tomorrow. It won't be as cold on Wednesday or Thursday, but by Thursday night, we're getting back into that territory again. So here's your wind chills for tomorrow morning. Again, not as bad as yesterday morning. We were pushing 25 to 30 below in the metro yesterday. Tomorrow morning, more like 15 to 20 below. And as you go north and west of St. Louis, maybe 20 to 25 below zero. So remember, frostbite can occur in 30 minutes with this kind of thing. And we've seen a number of house fires. Make sure that smoke detector is working. This is Wednesday morning. 2 degrees is what it will feel like, so that wind chill is a little better. Thursday morning, not a problem, but Friday morning into the weekend, we're back into this cold again, just not quite as cold. Mid-teens tomorrow for the high. Next system, little snow's on the way here later on Thursday, we think, into Thursday night. Should not be a major system for us, but it will drop upwards of a dusting to an inch, especially across southern Missouri. We'll fine-tune it as we get closer, but at this point, it doesn't look like it's a major system for us, but it does bring more Arctic air. So you bump into the mid-30s on Wednesday, which I think we'll all be savoring. And then we're back down into the teens for highs Friday and Saturday, even some close to zero temperatures Saturday morning. But next week, we make a turn. Granted, it gets wet, but your temperatures are well into the 40s.
We could use a little bit of a warm-up after all this
Oh, yes.
cold, for
Yes,
sure.
we could.
Scott, thanks.
Corey's next with sports.
Well, the Blues tried to stay hot on the ice, and we had one last day to warm up with the Cardinals. Stick around. Sports is up next.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
So far, 2024 has been pretty good to the Blues. They battled some of the toughest teams in the league and secured points in 4 of the first 5 games of the new year. Tonight, they finished off their homestand against Philly, who had no intentions of being the Blues' next impressive conquest. The captain, Braden Shen, played in his 900th career game tonight, appropriately against his former team from Philly. Flyers struck first. Scott Loughton beats Joel Hofer 1-0 Philadelphia. Blues would answer. Oscar Sundqvist jams one home on the suddenly red-hot Blues power play. We're tied at 1. Flyers take the lead back. Just look at this goal coming up. Off Joel Hofer's mid, off his head, then tipped in by Ryan Poling. That is an impressive goal. Blues respond once again. Brandon Saad avoids the stick on the ice, lasers one past Carter Hart. We're tied at 2 in the third period. Then the goal of the night, Owen Tippett jukes Justin Falk out of his skates, puts the backhand past Joel Hofer. Here's another look at it. That is impressive. Philly added an empty netter. They win 4-2.
We didn't have enough effort in our game in the hard areas. We continue to mismanage the puck, that is, making it difficult on our team to have to defend, which, makes it easy for them to get more offensive zone time, more shots on the net.
A month from today, pitchers and catchers will have their first official workout of spring training in the books. For the Cardinals, it has been an offseason of reflection. After the franchise's worst season in nearly 3 decades, the team made some notable pitching moves to bolster the rotation. But the question still persists. Why will this year be different than last year, both individually and for the team? Here's what a few of the players said at winter warm-up today.
I think last year this taught us about how to stay as a team. Baseball is not individually. You can think of individually, but at the end of the day, if the team is not on the same page, we're not going anywhere.
When you get, slapped in the face, you figure out pretty quick what doesn't work. So I'm looking forward to this year. Looking forward to correcting the wrongs that I had last year on the mound, and we were able to identify some of those pretty quick.
Going through that as a team, it tests you for sure. There's definitely different things. Not a lot of us have experienced that, so kind of just, I guess, knowing no one wants that now. Obviously no one wants to experience what we experienced. We're just, looking forward to going out there and competing and making sure it doesn't happen.
NFL playoffs today. Steelers-Bills was supposed to be played yesterday, but the weather pushed it to this afternoon. Snow still covered most of the seats. Buffalo rolling early. Josh Allen doing Josh Allen things. Takes off, just doesn't want to go down. 52-yard touchdown run. It was 21-0 at that point. Bills fans are going to go crazy with the snow here. I don't blame him. I would do the same thing. Pittsburgh made it a game. Mason Rudolph to Calvin Austin, 7-point game in the fourth. Bills had the last laugh, though. This was another wild play. Khalil Shakur bounces off everybody. He iced things late. Buffalo wins 31-17. They will host the Chiefs next week in Orchard Park. It was another draft day for the Battlehawks. As you can see, they emphasized defense and linemen in today's UFL dispersal draft. And spring training isn't the only thing sneaking up on St. Louis sports fans. The Battlehawks begin their training camp on February 24th. Won't be long. We'll have baseball, Battlehawks football, hockey. It's all going to be going at once.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could use some of the warmth of baseball.
I'll take that.
A final check of the frigid and snowy forecast when we come back.
Tomorrow, a new boutique smoke shop will open in Frontenac. The owner of Yenology tells our partners at the St. Louis Business Journal that she wants to change the stigma surrounding cannabis. The store, located on South Lindbergh and Conway, will sell specialty bongs and pipes made by local artisans and other goods like pottery, jewelry, and incense.
And Scott has a final check of our weather.
Well, you know, it's cold, and we're not going to get out of that until we get into Wednesday when we finally get above freezing. And the breeze is still a problem, especially tomorrow morning. Your futurecast wind chills, again, problematic tomorrow morning. That's why the wind chill advisory continues. 15 to 20 below zero is what it'll feel like in the metro area, 20 to 25 below zero farther to the north. You really do have to cover up everything that's exposed when you walk out the door. But there is a little break Wednesday and Thursday.
And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
Have a great evening.